Australian Rugby League in the morning, and what a match. It's the Dragons against the Roosters, both riding high in the NRL, and we'll also have all the tries scored in the competition this weekend. It's a 10:30 start on Sky Sports 2. And next Tuesday night, an additional fixture from the Super League. Warrington Wolves return home to face the Bradford Bulls, who'll be aiming to bounce back from that defeat against Hull. It's an 8 o'clock start on Sky Sports 1. Right now we take a look at Super League's new boys, Salford, who entertain the Wolves. Warrington beaten in the Cup semi-final last weekend. Now they're focused on getting to the big one, the grand final. What a win for Hull at Bradford. Sean Briscoe's fourth try. It was a major victory for Hull. And a Super League record crowd at Wakefield, but Leeds clear winners to increase their lead at the top of the table. Saints have the game in hand, but they are 5 points adrift, and there's a logjam behind them. Warrington can close the gap on those above them. At the bottom, Castleford are at Widnes tomorrow, and Neil Kelly, the Widnes coach, joins us here at the Willows. Out come Warrington, and it will be interesting to see how they fare after their exit from the Cup semi-final last Sunday by Wigan. It was their third defeat in a row for Paul Cullen's men. They were going really well. 6 wins from 7 in all competitions until the Good Friday meeting with Widnes. It's all gone wrong since. Salford, they are struggling to adjust to the weekly pressures of Super League. They won on the first weekend against Widnes, but they've lost 8 in a row since then. And their team is Kane, Kirk, Littler, Naylor, Stewart, Beverley and Clinch. And the forwards, Coley, Charles, who is in for Malcolm Alker. Alker's in hospital with appendicitis. Rutgerson then is the captain. It's Baldwin, Shipway and Johnson. And the substitutes are Highton, Fitzpatrick, Haggerty and Vinnie Myler. The coach is Carl Harrison. Sun-drenched crowd. It's the first weekend of summer. It has been absolutely glorious in the northwest of England today, as I know it has been throughout the country as well. And Russell Smith joins us as tonight's big match referee. Check the Warrington team out after the game gets in motion. Steve-O, Warrington to bounce back, or Salford to get another 2 points towards survival?
Well, I'm sure the Salford coach, Carl Harrison, has made it quite clear that this is one of the games that they must win. Naturally, against some of the top clubs, they may struggle, but Warrington, the big question, will they have the hangover after that semi-final loss?
Deep kick-off by Lee Breers, who continues to play with a broken finger. And the first tackle by Mike Wainwright and Mike Forshaw. And the man feeling the weight of that was Mark Shipway, the Salford second row forward. Salford, they have an impressive home record against the Wolves over the years, but this is the team that Warrington hope will do the trick this time. Cardis, Varkulis, Burns, Westwood, Gaskell. Breers continues to captain them alongside Nathan Wood. And the forwards, Lima, Clark, Paul Wood, Noon, Wainwright and Forshaw. And the substitutes, Gleeson, Guisset, the French international, Stevens and Gary Hulse. Coach Paul Cullen, of course, and it's their fullback, Darryl Cardis, who played the ball there. And the drive forward by Richard Varkulis, 21-year-old. John Clark, dummy half. Gets the ball away. Darren Burns operating in the centres. Good tackling by Sean Rutgerson there, leading the way for Salford, the captain. And here's Danny Lima. Great offload, finds Burns. If there is anything that you can be critical of Warrington for, Steve-O, just a lack of pace in the three-quarter line at the moment, with people like Graham Appo still out to the side. But with Breers there, anything's possible.
Certainly is, and perhaps just a little bit more luck, they could have actually beaten Wigan in that semi-final. Psychologically, they've got to get off to a good start. They can't allow Salford to get on the score sheet very early. The big problem, of course, Carl Harrison, the Salford coach, knows is that their defence has not been up to scratch, and that has been their problem at the start of this season.
Yes, beaten 44-0 against Leeds, 40 points to 4 against Salford in the last 2 matches, against St Helens in the last 2 matches for Salford. But they have the penalty here for interference at the play of the ball.
Well, that was silly play, really. Paul Wood just giving away a penalty, and no doubt 20 to 30 metres downfield. It's pretty warm out there. The big forwards will certainly feel it.
And here comes Rutgerson again for Salford. Good tackling by young Varkulis. And now Andy Coley, only a substitute in the last game against Warrington. It was a win at Wilderspool, 22-2 for Salford. Oh, Wainwright caught him high. It was a lazy arm.
Oh, did he ever? And Cliff Beverley would have felt that. Spinning round, just got him off balance. No real malice behind it.
Cliff Beverley, 39 tries, Rugby League's top scorer last year as Salford emerged from the National League to reclaim their place in the Super League. Joel Kane gives a short ball there to Shipway again. Kane, the dummy half, and they lost control at the play of the ball. That's criminal, and that's the sort of thing that Carl Harrison will not want to see.
Especially in such a good field position. Just lost it right the way through. Just a bit of nerve settling in. Mention the fact that Carl Harrison knows that these are the type of games that you've got to win to get out of the way of that relegation spot.
Darren Burns.
I think you know, Eddie, as well, that Castleford have to click sometime. So they've got to get as many points in front of the Tigers, who are languishing at the bottom, and that's dropped it.
He did. Danny Lehman lost the ball then. So neither side at the moment can retain possession, which will be a worry for both coaches.
Well, there was a stray arm in there. It could have gone either way. Interesting to see how the battle of the halves go on in this pretty keen game. Gavin Clinch, Cliff Beverley, of course, for Salford. They're the architects.
This is Beverley for Salford, watched by Nathan Wood, Darryl Cardis, and also Ben Westwood in there quickly. Here's Joel Kane, played in the last two heavy defeats, the former London Bronco. And Rutgerson again, driving it forward. Good tackling though. Kane again, and Beverley, and he gives it wide.
Pretty flat attack there. No one coming on the support. No one running as a dummy runner at all. You've got to try to confuse it. They tried it there.
This is Andy Johnson, formerly with Wigan, London and Castleford. Kane again. Clinch on the last. Running it, Rutgerson. Good hands, Johnson.
Well, that's a
turnover.
Sin. That is a sin. Great conditions for a little grubber kick. No damp patches out there today, that is for sure. And it just amazes me that they work so hard, and yet they'll go for the power play when you've got to try to get the sets, complete sets, one or two if possible. You can only do that with a little kick down into the in-goal area.
Well, neither side looking to make a mistake while in possession, apart from conceding the ball when they get to their feet to play it. It's safety first at the moment. Wood to Breers. He spins it wide to Burns, helps it on, and it goes further wide, and this is Varkulis.
Good sliding defence there by Salford.
40 metres gained though by Warrington, and Breers will gain a few more here with the kick.
It's a good kick too. That'll bobble around all over the place.
It's picked up by Andy Kirk, and the tackle is produced by Paul Wood. Mike Forshaw in there also. Clinch gets it away to Chris Charles. Let's hear from Dave Hadfield. Man of the match last night was Richard Swain. It raised one or two eyebrows, David, when you had Sean Briscoe on the field with 4 tries. What are you looking for tonight?
Well, I'm looking for somebody to score 5 tries and overlook them as well, perhaps. No, some things on the Warrington side especially. They need to get that half-back link going again. Big risk playing Richard, played Lee Breers with his hands strapped up, but well worth taking. A lot of involvement for Joel Kane tonight. He's full-back when they're defending, and he's dummy half when they've got the ball. So he's going to be very prominent to player by the looks of things.
Thanks, Dave. Verdict from Dave Hadfield on behalf of the representatives of the media a little bit later on. There were one or two eyebrows raised last night, though, Steve, when Briscoe, who scored the 4 tries, didn't get the man of the match, but the British press on that occasion looking outside the box, maybe.
Well, it was a brave selection, you've got to put it that way, but so often in the past, you know, the press have been lambasted because of the fact, oh yeah, he scored a hat-trick, so we'll give it to him. He had a good game, though, did the hooker.
He did, Richard Swain. But this is Warrington on the attack here in the shape of Paul Wood. He plays the ball to Nathan Wood, his namesake, who finds Breers. And here is Danny Lima. Showed it to Breers, he'll give him the offload. Breers on the break, he's got Cardis with him. And wide, he looks on the bounce for the wing of Varkulis. And only finds the touchline.
Well, that's a try bombed. He took the option. Did Lee Breers. It was a beautiful move, wasn't it? The big prop forward, Danny Lima. Looked as though it was just going to be a simple run around, and look how that ball just went the wrong way. Varkulis thought he was in for the 4-pointer. Head and feed at the scrum here. But what a neat little move that was.
Well, Varkulis had no chance with that. Bounce of the ball beat him. Salford then in possession. It's Stuart Littler who plays the ball there. And, Andy Johnson took a smack in the face then from Mike Wainwright. And Nathan Wood was a little bit high on Shipway then. Johnson ducking into the challenge this time.
Wait, lads, wait.
Joel Kane at dummy half. Shipway again.
5 and last, get back.
It's the last tackle. It's a decent defensive stint here from the Wolves. Claimed by Varkulis.
Good positional play there. We're going very close to the touchline.
Yes, Salford trying to force him out.
And you can just sense that both sides just feeling their way through to it. That break perhaps from Lima that put Lee Breers through might just lift their confidence. That'll be a knock-on.
John Clark.
And it's times like this that you don't want to be a coach, do you? Trying to force the pass. Mike Forshaw, our guest on Boots and All last Wednesday, he was adamant that that they could play very well against this Warrington outfit, and they would push the semi-final loss out of their thinking. We'll have to wait and see.
Naylor plays the ball on halfway to Beverley, and he gets it away to Johnson. Johnson then to Andy Coley. Boots and All on Wednesday. Sky Sports 3, our guest this week will be Ryan Hudson, the Castleford Tigers captain.
Get square.
And it's Tulson Tollett who'll be sitting next to me on the Boots and All settee. Gavin Clinch now for the Salford City Reds. It was a decent pass, but it's on the last tackle.
Surely the bomb.
Beverley gets to his feet, plays it to Joel Kane. There is the kick from Clinch, turning Varkulis around, and an angry bounce again. And Cardis does well, but he's halted by Chris Charles.
Well, it's the second occasion that Varkulis has been looking down the barrel of a really, really bad bounce there. You just get the feeling that this game needs a try.
Darrell Cardis was the man who was tidying up for Warrington. This now is Mike Forshaw. He cut through 3 but couldn't get away from Rutgerson. And it's Wainwright now.
Big problem there was Mike Forshaw made half the gap, looking for someone to support him. Second phase, not good from either side.
Are you with me, Steve-O, that both sets of players looking to just go through the motions at the moment, not taking any risks when they're in possession?
Yeah, it's a bit like a game of chess at the moment. Salford quite prepared to do a lot of one-out running, get themselves into a good position. They know they've got the quality in Beverley and Clinch and the halfbacks. And I suppose you get the same feeling with Paul Cullen's tactics too. Let's just see how it pans out.
Andy Coley now for Salford, getting them almost up to halfway. There's Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach. And this is Charles.
Good run as well.
40 metres away from the Warrington line. Clinch dabs the ball through the gap again. It's an invitation to chase, but it runs touching goal. Just a little bit too strong from Gavin Clinch. But a quiet opening to the match, Phil Clark.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how quickly we seem to go from winter to summer, and all of a sudden it's a warm day. The pitch has firmed up, which tends to suit the players with more speed and the ones with better evasion, really. And as the game progresses, I think you'll see one or two of the speedier players getting in and exploiting any fatigue that appears in their opponent's side. Salford without Malcolm Walker also, it's a big change to look at them here. Obviously out with his appendix having been removed. And I'll be interested to see how they're caught without him, who's been such a consistent performer for them for the last several years.
That was a good ball wide from Lee Breers for Warrington, but great defence on show. Terrific tackle there by Beverley.
And good work also by the second rower, Simon Baldwin. Made sure that he couldn't offload that. That's a dodgy kick. What a take.
Well claimed. Very well claimed by Joel Kane.
Had his eyes on the football at all time. That's what you need to do.
Andy Kirk for Salford, Joel Kane, the fullback. But whenever Salford are in possession, he operates here at dummy half. It's a good little run too. Gets the City Reds to the halfway line. Chris Charles now named as hooker. Gets the ball away to Rutgerson again. And now it's Andy Coley once more. Forwards being asked to drive the ball forward. Now look for Clinch or Beverley with the kick here. It's with Clinch. There's the kick over to the far side. It's into the sunshine. Difficult for Varkulis. He claimed it well.
Did he ever? Looking straight into the sun there. Not the best, but he held his ground. And you just get the feeling that both sides, not only testing, but I think the fans are so quiet.
Nathan Wood, good little dart from Nathan Wood, and he's broken the first line of defence. He's got Westwood with him, he went behind Westwood. Gaskell picks it up, and Clinch comes in to finish him off.
Great little run though, wasn't it, Nathan Wood? They went far too high, did the Salford defence. They pinched that ball then, got it back in the end. Ben Westwood just bobbled it, but the break from Nathan Wood. Look how they go far too high there. But upper body strength.
Nathan Wood again. Mike Wainwright now. Big test of the Salford defence.
Well, it's the second occasion that Warrington have been in a good position to score a try.
Danny Lima. Great offload to John Clark. Clark looking for support. It arrives eventually from Nathan Wood. He then gives it. But good defence once more. Clark, Nathan Wood looks for Breers on his outside. There he is. This is Forshaw. Breers takes over. Good ball back to Darren Burns, and Darren Burns is over the line.
What a
try! Great strength from the Australian there. Darren Burns. He was a centre in the semi-final and got a try, and he has been named in the centre today, and he has a try in the Tedley Super League.
Beautiful little angle pass. Watch Breers bring the big second rower back on the inside. There you go, baby. Bang. Went far too high. Simon Baldwin, the culprit there. And before they realised it, the upper body strength from Burns. Well, this game needed a try, and it was a good one too. But look at this. Second effort. Fantastic. Well, he's no stranger to running out wide, is he? The big second rower, Darren Burns, played in the centre so often as well. He's a talented player.
29 years of age, 9 tries last year. He had a stint with Brisbane in 2001, Darren Burns. Well, that's tries in successive matches now. And Lee Breers with the opportunity here to add the extras. About 8 metres in from touch on that far side. Into the sunshine, Breers. And 2 points bagged for the Warrington Wolves. Salford 0, Warrington 6.
Well, there you go. It's inside running. Look how it runs on the angle, and the actual defence is moving across. That's amazing. That it just stood there, see, and they went far too high. But this is great. Well, that's lifted the game. It certainly needed it.
Yes, the match needed a try. Neil Kelly, the witness coach, is alongside us up here on the gantry. Glorious evening, Neil, for rugby league, but just needs something to ignite the match, and maybe that try will do it.
Yes, I think in this first 20-odd minutes of the game we've seen two sides wanting to make themselves very solid up the middle, difficult to break down, and almost playing respect to the percentages. What you need in a game like that is a team that's prepared to go out of that box a little bit and maybe try something different and offload, push it wide. And I think just looking at the two sides in this first 20 minutes, Warrington have got the players who look more capable of going outside of that box, and certainly in Breers and Wood and Lima with the offloads, they certainly deserve the lead they've got up to now in taking a chance.
This is Wainwright. Thanks, Neil. More from Neil Kelly throughout the course of the match. Nathan Wood on the last. Breers will dab the kick through. And Joel Kane.
Oh, it'll just make it.
Just made it to the dead ball line.
That's a point I was trying to make in regards to Salford when they had the opportunity and actually went for the power play and just handed the ball over. Breers just testing it, trying it, could have bobbled in the in-goal area.
Littler will get to his feet. Here now is Simon Baldwin. Missed the first two of the year, but involved in every match since, the former England international. Andy Coley. Oh, lost it. Or was it stolen?
Yep. Well, again, not for the first time. They give away a penalty, and plenty of metres downfield. Mike Forshaw, the culprit, trying to explain to the official Russell Smith that he thought he was the only one involved in the tackle. Wasn't the case. Now then, can we see a little bit more flair from Salford? They've been quite happy just to cart it up with the forwards. What on earth is he doing?
But he tried to offload, or thought about the offload, Andy Coley, and the sheer impact of the tackle and the fact that he hit the deck.
He was going forward. Lima says, come here.
Let's get a foot on it when we're playing it. We're just rolling it. Come on. Keep your 5, Salford. Just rest, lads. Ball's away. Just rest.
So the referee just waiting for the ball to be fetched. Desperate to avoid the drop. Salford hopes for a new stadium in the next couple of years, but you have the feeling they have to be in Super League for that to be successful. This, meanwhile, is Richard Varkulis and Darren Burns. Great scream of forward from the Salford supporters on that far side, but the touch judge and referee not impressed. And Danny Lima has a great ability, this fella, to offload in the tackle, but he hangs on to it there.
Got through a lot of work last weekend in the semi-final.
Clark.
Well, of the two sides, Warrington a lot more adventurous. They are trying things, as Neil Kelly has already mentioned.
Wainwright almost through. Ball was wrapped up by the tackle from Sean Rutgerson.
Now then, will this be in the in-goal area again? I suspect so. No.
There's a high one out wide looking for Varkulis. But, he's fallen over the line, has he? No, the touch judge says he didn't. And he didn't. And he did well to stay in the field of play, Anthony Stewart, there.
Well, his head was certainly over the line, but it's got to touch the ground over it. Did well, didn't he?
When you look at the completion rates of Salford, you'll find that they've done very, very well, but in fact, very often it's just one man running with the ball. And the difference really, and the reason why Warrington have looked a better side, is they've got more players in motion when they're in possession, and that makes them a harder side to defend against. Salford haven't done very much wrong, but they really haven't threatened, and they're certainly not tiring Warrington to the same extent when they're in possession.
Varkulis seeing plenty of the ball from kicks downfield over on that far side.
Well, Carl Harrison, Salford coach, obviously feels that is the negative part, and that'll be play on.
Yes, they've lost the ball, and there's a chance here for Cliff Beverley. Cardis is after him. Breers ankle tapped him, and Cardis finished him off.
Well, I can't believe that Beverley did not go for the line. He sort of half stopped.
Chris Childs onto Gavin Clinch. And kick wide. Open spaces here for Andy Kirk.
That'll be head and feed.
Ball is in touch.
Head and feed. It was certainly taken out.
Gaskell, I think.
Yep. That'll be head and feed to Salford. Neat kick, wasn't it? No, he takes it through. Now he's got to be deemed to have gone for it.
And he is. The referee saying he did play at the ball, Dean Gaskill.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. This sound system's going on and off if it lets something on.
Now a golden opportunity, maybe a set move at the scrum.
Clinch gets the possession, finds Beverley, tries to step inside a couple, and Forshaw stopped him legally, according to Russell Smith. Clinch looping pass, Baldwin. Simon Baldwin can't get through the defensive line that was Lima and Noon. And here is Highton.
Well, Warrington would have learnt a very, very hard lesson there. They stopped expecting the whistle from Russell Smith when Beverley went chasing through.
Shipway now. The man signed from Manly, Mark Shipway. Plays the ball to Joel Kane. Here is Scott Naylor. Naylor stabs the ball to the in-goal area. And Andy Kirk.
20.
No, it's over. He took a big, big risk here. Neat little kick through there by Scott Naylor. Now then, was that taken over?
Well, according to the touch judge and Russell Smith, no. That's why it's a tap on the 20 for Warrington.
It's important now that Salford make sure that their defence is pretty solid. A couple of clean breaks from Warrington certainly lifted their confidence, and they've got to be in this game when they go into the sheds at half-time.
Good drive forward by Paul Wood. And this is Nathan Wood. And here is Gleeson, and on it goes to Breers, who sees a gap, and Breers tries to get the ball away and gives it to Salford. And Nathan Wood has to be the man tackling Joel Kane.
Well, not a bad option if he could have just got it away. He was trying, but again, we see the quality of Lee Breers, just through the dummy, dinked through, had the support as well. But sadly, that was the case. Paul Cullen, the coach, knows it, that many opportunities in that semi-final, just couldn't finish. And it's been on show again.
Yes, beaten for the third time in 5 years, the penultimate stage of the knockout competition, but now it's all eyes on grand final night. And actually, we look across the rooftops here at Salford and we can see Old Trafford standing in the distance, and October is not too far away for all these teams in the Super League.
Just looked a little bit unsteady there. Varkulis is getting through a lot of work.
This is Cardis.
Salford certainly putting a lot of pressure on him. Oh, that is poor defence.
Jerome Guisset was able to stutter and then start and go past again. And here is Gleeson.
They've got to work a bit harder, Salford, in that first and second marker position. They're being caught out with ease.
Breers to Wainwright. A gap opened up for Wainwright. That's the last tackle on halfway. Nathan Wood to Lee Breers. Here's the kick. It's a lazy kick from Breers in many ways, and Anthony Stewart will have time to pick it up. Neil Kelly, your thoughts?
Well, I think Salford are in a dangerous time at the moment. The players are just starting to look a little bit fatigued. It's 15 minutes to go before half-time. And I think if Warrington can recognise that and maybe just turn the screw a little bit, earn field position, which Lee Breers' last offload is not going to give them. If they can earn field position, I think they can actually do Salford some damage in this last 15 before half-time.
4 tackles gone. They don't seem to be able to make the ground. They don't seem to be able to get over the advantage line, Salford, Steve-O. That's the big difference. They haven't got a Lee Breers, if you like.
That's right, and as you saw there from the offloads, only 1 as against 7 for Warrington. So it shows quite clearly that the more adventurous side are the Wolves.
Paul Wood is being led away to the side, injured by the looks of things. He's had a pretty grim couple of weeks, family bereavement. He's missed the last 2 and now injured. But Warrington have coughed possession up and Salford have it back.
That wasn't the best from Darryl Cardis, I can assure you.
Here's Andy Johnson.
He won't get a tap on the back, more like a rap on the knuckles by Paul Cullen. A couple of occasions.
Clinch to Beverley, and here's Baldwin.
Nearly got it, he's lost it. Tried to offload. Simon Baldwin. Well, with so many errors, so many mistakes, it is quite warm out there, but that was reefed away by Lee Breers. That should have been a penalty. That's the reason why the second rower, Simon Baldwin, is looking at the official saying you've got that wrong, and I'm with him. Watch for Breers. Bump, deliberately takes that ball away. 2-on-1, should have been a penalty.
Nathan Wood just showed it and went for the gap, but he's made the break. He has Westwood and he also has Gaskell, but he isn't going to need either of them. And Nathan Wood will score the try right behind the sticks for Warrington. A try from nothing. Although Russell Smith said he could not give Simon Baldwin the benefit of the doubt as the ball came free, and from the scrum Nathan Wood went 3/4 of the length of the field and had too much pace for the Salford defence.
Well, you've got to feel sorry for the Salford side because this was deliberately reefed away by Lee Breers. The officials really should have seen that. They didn't, and from the resulting scrum, it's been a problem yet again. They went far too high. That's the second occasion they've allowed this fella freedom to move. But look at that, the chase to try to force him away from the post, well, is nothing less than shambolic. Not good defence in the first place, but they allow, look at this, no one's coming across to try to force him away, and they just stop and allow him to canter underneath the sticks. Now, it's little things like that that could prove very, very costly late in the game.
First try in Super League for Nathan Wood, 4 in the Cup. Breers from bang in front, 2 out of 2 for Breers. 12-0 to Warrington Wolves.
Well, surely they've learnt the lesson. Carl Harrison must get the message out to his players that someone has to go for the legs of this fella. Second occasion, virtually in the same position as well, that he's skirted under a would-be defender.
Nathan Wood will be the subject of a quiz question in the years to come, because he was the scorer of Warrington's first try at their new stadium. And we will be at Warrington's new stadium on Tuesday night when the Warrington Wolves entertain the champions from Bradford. It's an extra match for you on Sky Sports 1, 8 o'clock we're live. Warrington, Bradford. Gleeson. Warren Stevens offloads back to Gleeson. It's looking ominous at the moment for Salford. Forshaw, he offloads to Cardis. Good movement, Breers again. Wide it goes. This is Darren Burns. Darren Burns has Varkulis with him. Oh, and Varkulis loses the ball in the tackle.
Well,
everything was right until the last second.
He did everything right, and that ball's been stripped 1-on-1, so that's okay. It's up to the ball carrier to make sure that he hangs on to it. Bit of a facial there. Paul Noon getting the hands in the face, but well, that really would have finished Salford off.
Haggerty, good offload.
That was superb three-quarter play there by Warrington. The way that they created that overlap out wide.
Welsh international Paul Heighton has it for Salford. Charles is the dummy half. This is Clinch. Gavin Clinch weaved his magic for Salford last year to get them out of the National League. But the club are just finding the step up a bit difficult, but here goes Andy Johnson. Oh, and he's done Cardis, and Andy Johnson's over under the sticks. Well, it could have been 18-0, now it's 12-6, and Salford have the sniff of something. And that's much better for Carl Harrison and his team. Andy Johnson. But the would-be tackle from Cardis wasn't crash hot, but a terrific run from Andy Johnson.
Outstanding individual play here. Well, they were resting on their laurels, weren't they? Not the best attempt to get to him. Take nothing away from the try scorer, Andy Johnson. And just a moment ago, just before this, the ball is stripped away 1-on-1. Golden opportunity to actually seal the win, I'm sure. They would have gone on to control it. The heads may have gone down, but now they're lifted. Courtesy of some wonderful skills by this fella, Andy Johnson. They look down and out. but they're back.
Andy Johnson, formerly with Wigan, London, Castleford. Just one start previously in the centres, operating at loose forward tonight. He has scored the try, and it has been improved by Charles. Something for the Salford supporters to celebrate. Johnson's try. Phil Clark.
Eddie, they haven't done a lot wrong, and yet you say the Salford supporters hadn't had a lot to cheer. But for that missed tackle there from Westwood, who's more so often when we've seen him play for Warrington has defended either as a winger or a centre. All of a sudden he found himself more in the centre of the field and was unable to stop the evasive footwork of Andy Johnson. If Salford's goal had been before this game to have a high completion rate, i.e. to control the ball and not drop it and get to the kick, I'm sure they've achieved that and they'll be happy with that at this halfway stage. But they really haven't, as we've said, threatened the Warrington side. Too often we've seen one player just carry the ball forward, and yet as we speak of that now, there's a bit of adventure as they move the ball wide.
Indeed, it's with Baldwin.
Perhaps
pulled down by Darren Burns.
Would have been better suited, I felt, that Baldwin to look for his support on his left. Two players out wide.
Cliff Beverley, and here's Paul Highton. Wainwright and Westwood this time affect the tackle. Last one. Here's Clinch.
Up until that try, Salford really were lacking a lot of zip. It's amazing what can happen when you get a four-pointer. Andy Johnson has given them a glimmer of hope.
Let's get injury news off the side, Bill.
Eddie, we saw Paul Wood come off, and at the time it looked like he might have done a shoulder or a wrist injury, but it turns out he was very badly winded, uncomfortably winded, I think is the expression, but he should be able to continue in the not too distant future. I'm not so sure about Scott Naylor, who's just been brought off for the Salford City Reds, and ice quickly applied to his what looked like left calf muscle. I don't know whether Naylor is going to be able to return to the fray.
Pulse to Westwood, and Westwood being forced towards the touchline but using his strength to stay in the field of play, but now he's over the line.
Good work by Andy Kirk there. And his strength, made sure that they didn't just deck him down, kept him moving. Tried to offload, didn't he, Ben Westwood? Good work from the winger Andy Kirk.
Formerly with Leeds, Andy Kirk. Confirmation that Gary Holtz has come on for Nathan Wood.
It's vital now that Salford just play very calmly indeed. Don't try to test their arm. I think that with the showing so far, I think they'll be quite happy just to be the 6 points down at half-time.
5 minutes to go to the break. Paul Highton. Gleeson and Warren Stevens with the tackle. Joel Kane. Here goes Shipway again.
Hands off 4. 1 Ben.
Plays the ball to Joel Kane, who releases Chris Charles. Last tackle, they're only just over halfway against Salford. Kane, a dab through by Beverley, and Cardis waited for the ball and got it on the second bounce. Whoa! Dragged back and stolen.
Pulled it forward him.
It's a knock on, but Cardis is more concerned with the fact that he nearly lost his head.
Well, was it a high or was it a grab? Well, that looked high for me. Mark Shipway did not miss him. And when you see it head on, wanted the grab on the shoulder. Certainly felt that. It must be head and feet to Salford.
And now Warrington, I think, Steve-O, he said that the ball was pulled forward by the Salford man. I think it's going to be Warrington's head and feet.
Well, that surprises me. Come for lunch.
Well, Bill apparently is our ornithologist. Bill?
Oh, I resent that remark, Eddie, whatever it means.
It's a bird, Bill.
Oh, right, I'm with you now. Well, Clarkie and I have been keeping a close eye on that. We reckon it's actually escaped from a magic act in the Willows tonight. They've been trying to catch it. It's not going to budge. They've put 2 kicks into its area and it's fielded everyone. Oh, it's got a friend there now.
Always a man to watch the birds, Bill.
2, release! Come on!
Gleeson.
Back to 1, is it surely?
Back to 1.
It is.
Tackle count is wiped down. This is Darren Burns.
Golden opportunity now for the Wolves, really to turn the screws.
And it's with Breers, who finds Gary Hulse on his left-hand side. And Hulse, scampering little run, gets it back to Breers, who pops it over the top to Mike Forshaw, who hands it on to Gleeson. Baldwin's after him.
And 3, lay him up.
Good scrambling defence. It had to be Cliff Beverley coming to the rescue. Oh, that looked forward.
Warren Stevens.
That was delayed.
4,
And,
on your line.
well, it was a shade forward for mine.
Here's Breers. Gary Hulse again. Wainwright outside him, showed it him, but gave it instead to Westwood. And Westwood, he's over the line again. Good defence from Salford down this right-hand side. And Andy Kirk is leading the way.
Once again, keeping up, Ben Westwood. Seems to like the whitewash, doesn't he? Oh, that's great stuff. Well, they're a bit dodgy to start with. Opening 10-15 minutes, missing far too many tackles with Salford, but you can see on that occasion the mere fact that Andy Johnson's try just lifted their spirits. Now they're no mistakes. That's what Carl Harrison, their coach, will be wanting.
Here's Andy Kirk, the man who produced the tackle that has given Salford this possession. And Carl Harrison has made his way round to the dugout over on the far side. Would Carl Harrison, do you think, be the happier of the two coaches? Is Carl Harrison happier than Paul Cullen at this stage, Neil?
Well, I would say so. As I said about 15 minutes ago, I thought Salford looked as though they were going to go out of the game, but some poor defence when nothing seemed on from Warrington have given Salford a leg up into this game. And not just the 6 points, it's really sparked them into life. So I think Carl will see enough in this last 10 minutes to encourage him to think they can get something more out of this game.
Well, while there's Clinch there kicking like that, there's every opportunity. My word, he really went for that, didn't he?
Super kick through, wasn't it? Gavin Clinch, he was there.
And I think it was Fitzpatrick, it was.
He went very close.
Well, he takes the ball over the line.
It's no try, that's for sure, but a very relieved winger, Richard Varkoulis. A little bit slow to respond on that.
30 seconds to half-time, and they've coughed the ball up. Darren Burns. This is Gavin Clinch. Here is Stuart Littler. Westwood gets to him. Well, instead of being attacking, Warrington now having to defend for their lives. And Clinch again. Beverley. And the Dove is still in the defensive line. Clinch. Oh, nicked by Breers. Now has Breers got the legs? He's away from the first despairing dive. And Breers pins his ears back. Fitzpatrick's after him. And Breers scores for Warrington. A breakaway try for the Warrington skipper.
He's a pass master at this.
And Carl Harrison is absolutely furious. They seem to have done all the hard work, Salford. They'd got the ball back in the last few seconds of the first half.
Well,
and then Breers was skirting out wide.
You couldn't fault them trying to force a pass. They knew there were only seconds remaining. But this man does it so often. Look at those little legs go. And he kept looking around saying, I'm going to get there. Oh boy, that is a great effort. Look at the determination etched on his face. Catch me if you can. You can't.
Good job he hit the ball with the right hand, not the left. He's got the broken finger there, Lee Breers. But he is such an inspiration to this side. And Paul Cullen, he missed him last year for the last 6 months of the season with a broken scaphoid. Now he's back. And even though the hand is still heavily bound and the fingers are tied together, Breers is a very important member of this Warrington team. And there's the problem area.
And he's a very brave player, I must say, Lee Breers. Little doubt that it hasn't mended. It is a problem. He played in the semi-final. There was talk saying that he wouldn't be available for this game. It's tough. And none tougher than this little fella. But that's heartbreaking for Salford.
But what a bonus it would be for Warrington if Breers kicks this. It will be the last kick of the first half, because we've already heard the siren. And Lee Breers has kicked it. What a bonus. Salford 6, Warrington 18. The Warrington faithful will have been hugely encouraged by that, but he won't. Carl Harrison, I would not like to be in that Salford dressing room, because if looks could kill, Harrison is ready to peel the paint off somebody or something. But the Warrington fans who have journeyed here, well, that will have encouraged them for the second half, and it will be maybe exactly the right time for a side to score, right on the bell. Salford 6, Warrington 18 at the break.
Let the next era begin.
It all starts right here. Live only on Sky Box Office. Vitaly Klitschko takes on Corey Sanders. Two of the biggest punchers in boxing fight it out to become the new heavyweight champion of the world. The men who would be king. Tonight at 2 a.m. Sky Box Office. See Channel 770 or call 08705 800 888.
With air conditioning, ABS, CD player, alloy wheels, plus a whole lot more. The generously equipped Focus Edge from 11,495. Pass it on.
For a beautifully protective coat, Cuprinol takes care of it.
So, we wake up in a whole world of Spain. And then I head down to reception. I can't get into my room. A free upgrade later. In a room with a bird's eye view.
Well, it's been a long day. He needs a perfect drive here. What a lovely shot!
Yeah! Hold the man!
Forget your right guard. Let's start again. Start every day with an upward spray of new Right Guard Total Protection. Its time-released odor protection will never let you down, no matter when your day ends.
Oh, that is brilliant!
New Right Guard Total Protection. Start right, end right.
Smart move, Dave. Consolidated with Dell Power Edge servers. Highly available, highly scalable. Intel Xeon processors. Cuts costs across the board. So you're not going to miss those old servers, right?
Oh, Tony. What did you do with the old servers?
Nothing.
That's our drinking fountain, isn't it?
You mean Hydra?
Find out how you could cut costs across your enterprise easy as Dell. Go online today.
A Season of Opera on DVD is a collection of the most famous operas. Enjoy memorable performances from the greatest voices and conductors in the comfort of your own home. Part 1 includes booklets and 2 DVDs, La Bohème starring Pavarotti and La Traviata with Georgiou and Scholti. And it comes at a fantastic price.
Auntie Gerald says, stay on after GCSEs, and with EMA, you can earn up to £500 in bonuses.
range of financial services and products, from financial advisors to ISAs, American Express can help prepare for the life you want to live.
For a longer life, Cuprinol takes care of it.
Rugby League weekend concludes in the morning. Sky Sports 2 at 10:30. St George Illawarra Dragons against the Sydney Roosters, plus all the other tries scored in Australia's NRL. Join Chris Warren 10:30 in the morning. Sky Sports 2. And don't forget, we have this extra little treat for you next Tuesday night live. Sky Sports 1 at 8. Warrington Wolves against the champions from Bradford. Talking of Warrington, they are in the driving seat here at the Willows against the Salford City Reds. Warrington with tries from Burns, Nathan Wood and Lee Breers right on the stroke of half-time, and Breers has also kicked 3 goals. Johnson and Charles, the point scorers for Salford. Carl Harrison was absolutely furious when Lee Breers went over for that last-minute try. He steered Salford back to Super League at the first attempt in 2003. He knew it would be a difficult step up for them. And it's a warm night. It really is a warm night outside, and I'm sure it's pretty warm inside the dressing rooms as well. And that's the scene in the Warrington dressing room. I think we can just about see Paul Cullen somewhere in the mist there. But it is very, very warm, obviously, and they're not the biggest dressing rooms in the world here at the Willows. Well, Warrington, they were struggling a bit. They've scored the tries, but that try right on the stroke of half-time from Lee Breers, just what the doctor ordered. Neil Kelly is here with Steve O'Mee. I think, you know, Carl Harrison, furious. He would have expected his team to turn around just 6 points down.
Well, when Salford picked up a loose ball with about 30 seconds to go, I think they just went into scoring mode and felt they needed to do anything they could do before the half-time hooter to get a score, and that's just led them to push it a little bit too hard, and Lee Breers scoring a trademark interception try.
And he had the pace also to go 3/4 of the length of the field to score it.
He did actually run in front of the dugouts, and it looked like Carl Harrison for 1 minute they were going to dive out and tackle him himself, and I think that's the sort of emotion they'll be feeling at the moment.
Well, instead of trying to tackle it himself, he was furious, threw the notepad down, and he did a Neil Kelly, I think. He kicked a water bucket. Now, we always remind you about this because of your antics in the dressing room last year, but...
well, it's not advisable. There's a lot of ice in those buckets which you don't realise, and
you can understand his frustration, though.
Oh, definitely, I can empathise with everything Carl's feeling there. His team have clawed their way back into a game. They're putting pressure on the Warrington line, and then they just press a little bit of a self-destruct button, and that's just what he didn't want. He'd got his half-time team talk probably in mind, and it's probably changed now in that last few seconds.
Yes, it'll have to be a different speech from Carl Harrison. He's having to rally his troops from a 12-point deficit during the break. Steve-O, after last night, it's not the same sort of match, but some things to admire nonetheless.
Oh yeah, it's not a classic, we know that, and I think Warrington deserved to be in the lead at half-time, mainly due to the fact that they were the most adventurous. This Salford side, well, their defence has been very, very bad, especially in the early part of this game. 14 missed tackles. This is the bomb try by Varkulis. I must say, the way that Lehman and Breers combined to build up to that, it wasn't surprising that Burns went in for it. Watch the inside pass here. They do a little run around with Forshaw. Inside pass, and you can see ball went, well, he really should have gone down for the legs. And I must say, Neil, that at this point, now this is the one where he should have been penalised, Lee Breers.
Yeah, he should have been penalised, but I think it's also the sort of challenge that we see dozens of times within a game, and I'm not surprised it wasn't seen in that instance.
But you can see there, going far too high. He's having a big game, isn't he, Nathan Wood?
It is a great game. He's very, very effective down that left-hand side of Warrington's attack, and I'm sure Scott Naylor, when he watches the video, will think he should have made a better effort in making that tackle.
Well, this is the one where they lose the ball, made a right mess yet again, and the build-up, well, it would have been pleasing Paul Cullen, and rather than Warrington scoring the try, what a great effort here from Andy Johnson. He's still got the quality, hasn't he?
Yeah, fantastic individual effort, makes the break. I'm not sure who Westwood's actually looking to defend against there and getting stepped, but great try.
And of course this, Neil, it's a sickener, isn't it? but it's not a fluke. This guy, he does it on a regular basis, doesn't he, Breers?
Yeah, it's a trademark Lee Breers try. He's not in the Warrington side for his defensive ability, but you do worry about him when you're throwing a ball across his face that he's going to just put his hand out, pinch it out of the air and go the length of the field.
Thanks, fellas. Let's go down now to Phil Clark on the sideline, who's been concerned with that poor little dove in the in-goal area at the other end of the field. But, Phil, what do you report on that, and what about the first half?
Well, that seems to have flown away, and maybe with the chances of it of Salford, really. You know, it's a human behaviour that when you think you've had a bit of bad luck, you feel sorry for yourself, but Salford really can't afford to do that. They've got to go in there at half-time now and really improve, because the way they started the game was very confident. There was strong defence in one-on-one tackles and good technique. They slid well in defence as well and handled what Warrington threw at them. But really they didn't pose a lot of threats. One of the best options really for scoring a try would probably be from a kick, and I look to exploit that in the second half. Warrington probably quite clearly the better side. Caused a lot of problems from offloads. There's one from Mike Forshaw and a strong wood from Paul Wood on the back of that. Here Nathan Wood it is, causing trouble again. And it was the players running around and the offloads and the support play really that Warrington had that made life so difficult for Salford. Another strong run from Paul Rudd. I think he got hit actually in the private part, so he came off. But I think the other thing that first half showed was the fact that a lot of people in rugby league get obsessed with completion rates, how often you complete your set of possession. That just goes to show it's not how long you have the ball, it's what do you do with it when you have it, and Warrington demonstrated that perfectly in the first 40.
Well, just for all you bird lovers, we can tell you the dove is fine. He's up on the roof and keeping a little eye on what's going on. By the looks of things, he might be back for the second half. We'll keep you informed as to the progress of the bird in the second 40. Now then, I don't think the bird will be flying off with the watch, but one of the players will be. Who's going to go home with that? That's the prize for the man of the match. Dave Hadfield and members of the British media will be giving us their verdict. 5 minutes remaining in the game. Warrington look as though they might have it in the bag. They are ahead. Oh, he's back. And he's off again. But a 12-point lead at half-time. They have a bit too much pace in the half-backs for Salford on the evidence of the first 40.
It's great to live here, you know, make your living off the land. See here, genuine Wembley turf, ready in 5 minutes. I'll sell that for 200 quid. Bit of paint on it, I'll sell it for 500. Who buys it? Anybody that's daft enough, really. Who's going to know the difference? The very own piece of sporting history. English will buy anything. I'm a businessman, not a con man.
With an Egg card, you're in control of your money. With 0% on balance transfers until the 1st of October, 0% on all purchases until the 1st of October, and free Egg Money Manager. Apply now at egg.com.
If you want to find out more about a job in the Army, just call 08457 300 111.
Recover Shower Gel with added Lynx effect.
Got the urge for a bacon double cheese from Burger King? Doubly delicious with regular fries for only $1.99. Got the urge? Get to Burger King.
Every 10 seconds, RAC gives motorists a helping hand. If you break down, and with expert legal advice after any kind of accident. RAC's personal injury claim service is available to everyone. If they can help, a dedicated RAC lawyer will handle everything. The service is free, and you'll keep every penny of your claim. RAC, always there for you and every one of Britain's 32 million motorists.
Thank you.
No problem.
I really liked it. Couldn't put it down.
Thanks very much. Hiya. You all right? There you go.
The Saturday premiere, sponsored by Diet Coke with Lemon.
Someone out there just beat a 17-year-old girl to death. Your job is to find her.
This guy crossed the line. He didn't even blink.
You know who you think I am.
I haven't had any sleep. You're not thinking straight.
A good cop can't sleep because a piece of the puzzle's missing, and a bad cop can't sleep because his conscience won't let him.
Al Pacino, Robin Williams. Insomnia, tonight at 8 and 9 on Sky Movies.
Coming up tomorrow from 12:30, Sky Sports 3, live rugby from the Parker Pen semi-final between Connaught and Harlequins, followed by action from the Heineken Cup as Munster take on the Wasps. This is the Super League, and Warrington are ahead by 18 points to 6 at half-time. Well, the Red Devils, the Salford City Reds, and it looks like he's turned up tonight. Warrington will attack as we watch from left to right. They're ahead by 12 points at the break. They don't usually like taking on the Salford City Reds. They've won 7 times against Salford, though, since 1997. Salford have won 8, and even when Salford were relegated in 2002, Salford won 2 out of the 3 fixtures. Clinch restarts. Warrington allow the ball to bounce, and Warren Stevens will drive it forward. Now, remember last time we were here, Carl Harrison gave his team the rounds of the kitchen at half-time, and they really produced something of a fight back in the second half against Wakefield. OK, they still lost the match, but it was a much better performance from them. I'm sure he's looking for exactly the same in the second 40 here tonight. I wonder what Paul Cullen might have said, Steve-O.
Well, I think he'll be quite happy with their approach play. It was just that they tried to force the pass a little bit too often, tried to be a little bit too fancy when they needn't to have done that. They've got that pretty convincing lead now, and they'll just work on it.
And this is Paul Noon for Warrington on the last tackle. First set of 6 in this second half. It's back with Breers. Breers under pressure from Anthony Stewart. Not the best kick. It's straight down the throat of Andy Kirk. Well, we're speculating about what was said in the dressing rooms. Bill Arthur can confirm it all.
Well, Eddie, as far as Paul Cullen goes, he was obviously very pleased to finish that first half on such a high note. But I think he wants his side really to ram home their supremacy. He feels that they've really made Salford work very hard indeed, and they should be a tiring side. And Warrington have got to get themselves into positions where they can take advantage of that and really finish their opponents off. As you can guess, and you mentioned it, Eddie, Carl Harrison not impressed with the way his side really let that slip. They just dropped off for those crucial seconds at the end of the first half, and they paid the price, and he was furious.
It's a great kick, and Gary Holtz does well, and what's more, he's over the whitewash. It was a wonderful chase from Carl Fitzpatrick, the former Swinton and Widnes halfback. He didn't give that up. Holtz got the ball, but Fitzpatrick got him.
Well, it was a wonderful kick, wasn't it? You can see Holtz was struggling to get to the ball. Was bobbling all over the place. He tried everything. Oh, that's good play, isn't it? Great work from Fitzpatrick. Well, it was been a bitter blow. Never mind just the intercept by Lee Breers with only seconds remaining of the first half. The mere fact that Breers added the extra 2 points from wide out. If it wasn't bad enough then, but that will lift their spirits.
Indeed.
They certainly need something.
They do, and that was a terrific kick, a great chase, just what Salford needed, so there should be a little bit of spring in their heels, but oh dear. Oh, but it might work out for Joel Kane in the end.
Oh, he should have gone for
the
it.
Ball to nowhere.
Well, that's the second occasion that we've seen a Salford player in the first half. It was Cliff Beverley, and he can't believe it, Carl Harrison. Neither can I. It was a good build-up, apart from the pass, but that went backwards. Why didn't he just pin the ears back and go?
It was a pass to himself.
Well, he thought that they were coming back on the inside. Fitzpatrick didn't, stayed out wide. Well, that is a real let-off, and a bitter blow to the side, and the coach, Carl Harrison.
Well, Joel Kane's first pass was to himself, and it worked out. Oh, Mike Forshaw now's coughed possession up to Stuart Littler. They're all at it.
Well, it's very rare you see that, isn't it? The experienced Mike Forshaw. He could be in the bin here, you know.
Wainwright right over the top of Littler. Now,
there's a mistake by Forshaw.
Will they take the kick here, I wonder?
Well, I would not tap it. I'd try to force it, and they're doing that. What on earth are they doing? Well, Carl Harrison's got to get the message out. Say, come on, this is not basketball.
This is Johnson, scorer of the try for Salford in the first half. And now Beverley. Oh, another interception possibility from Lee Breers. He was hunting another then.
And it didn't surprise me because the pass was so telegraphed, and he was nearly away yet again. They're going to have to soak up a full set of 6, but maybe a little bit more inventiveness from the Salford side. They've been quite happy to just cart the ball up with the forwards, and then they just fall apart.
Clinch to Beverley. Wide it goes to Joel Kane, and further wide to Andy Kirk. Good tackle low down by Gaskell. Quick play the ball, that's better. And here comes Mark Shipway for Salford.
Good defence by Warrington there. Came in on the arc, trying to force them back down that middle.
Good run from Heighton. They're camped in front of the Warrington sticks now. Joel Kane at dummy half, going himself, looking to offload, went backwards. Chris Charles. They might get away with this.
Well, Charles was looking.
Back to one, says the referee.
But there was no support.
And Clinch, and wide to Johnson.
Again, well-drilled defence there by Warrington, allowing the Salford Reds no room to move. Well, they have.
He was high then.
Certainly looked
it. But he lost control.
Well, I think if there's any children watching, turn your head, because if we get a shot of Carl Harrison, it'll frighten the kids to death. Oh.
Is your mark, lads?
Well, he's barking the instructions down the walkie-talkie, but nobody's listening at the moment, Carl. Here goes Mike Forshaw from the base of the scrum. Gary Hulse, Darren Burns.
Well, they've weathered the storm,
away from Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick came back with help from Baldwin, pulled him down. Here goes Gary Hulse again. Good tackling by Anthony Stewart. Stewart on a season-long loan from St Helens. Guisset, the French international, away from Beverley. Oh, and he's away from the second man. Kane didn't get to it. And it's a Guisset, a one-man show at the moment.
Well, poor defence got him into that position. But I thought he had the opportunity to offload there.
This is Breers. Wainwright. Misses out Westwood, finds Wood. Oh.
Well, that's a sin. He was carrying the ball virtually with one hand instead of pulling it towards his chest. Not impressed, Paul Cullen.
Let's get down to the sideline. More injury news from Bill.
Well, Eddie, we saw Gary Hulse involved early on in the second half for Warrington. He's at full back, and that's because Daryl Cardis ended that first half with a an ankle injury. It's strapped up at the moment, not so certain that he's going to be able to come back on. Neither will Scott Naylor for the Salford City Reds, sitting very disconsolately in the City Reds dugout. So both sides having to make do with key players, make do without key players, I should say.
Well, you see the tactics yet again that Salford are utilising. It's just virtually one out.
Clinch with the kick.
They look a little bit lost for ideas, but that's a good kick. Or is it too long?
It's going to go too long. John Clark restarts and gives it to Gary Hulse.
Good work from the little fella as well. Just take the pressure off the forwards. Nice to see that.
Paul Noon plays the ball 40 metres out to John Clark. Baldwin's after him.
Let's ensure that Baldwin was sending square then.
Lima.
He could make the difference.
To the halfway line.
Got great ability to take on the defences and then offload at the very last moment. That's gone backwards. Oh, that's gone forward.
It's play on. And this is Littler. And he hands it on. Well, Nathan Wood has touched the ball about 3 times in this second half. He's dropped it each time. He's having a nightmare start to the second 40.
Big problem for the Salford Reds is though that they can't make it pay. They are desperate for a score here.
Andy Coley.
Well, maybe just someone running a different angle. They're just making it easy meat for this Warrington defence.
Kane to Clinch, pops the ball back. Here's Kane again, and Clinch once more. Oof! Danny Lima. Joel Kane.
Certainly got into a clinch there, didn't he?
Charles to Beverley.
But you see, they're flat-footed at Salford. There's no one running onto the football. You're not going to apply the pressure by doing that.
Clinch stabs the ball through, an opportunity here. Oh, could be a try here. This really could be a try for Johnson. It could be a second.
Now then, will it be onside? Was there a knock-on in there? We'll have to wait and see. But it was a neat little kick through from Gavin Clinch. It's virtually been their only attack as the utilisation of the kick. Now then,
is that him on the far side?
Yeah, it looks it. I think he might be just in front. Oh, this will be a shame. If ever Carl Harrison and the Salford Reds needed a little bit of the rub of the green.
Oh, he's knocked it on anyway.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This will be no try. Salford fans, they've seen it on the screen. They think it is, but this is... Yeah, certainly knocks it forward. I'll be very surprised if this is a TRY. Definitely gets a hand to it. See clearer, I think. Yeah, as he touched it. Well, he's looking from a different angle. Oh, it's a hard one to spot, isn't it?
Well, do we come back to this benefit of doubt to attacking side?
And was he onside? He's obviously feels that that's okay, but soon as... I suppose in many ways if Ben Westwood touches it...
Here's the decision from Jerry Kershaw. No try. And a 20-metre restart. It was a knock-on.
He just shakes his head. He's completely shocked, is Carl Harrison. But I'm not so sure that Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach, should be happy either. As you've mentioned, Nathan Wood touched the ball 3 times and spilt it.
Steve, I would agree with that, with Paul Cullen. Do you know, Warrington were unlucky perhaps by some people's opinion to lose in the semi-final last week, and I think there's a case maybe of a semi-final hangover. On the last 2 occasions they've been to the Challenge Cup semi-final and lost in them. They've then gone on to lose the next league match the following week, and the way they've played today isn't up to the standards that we've seen them play this season, and that's perhaps one of the reasons. They've read the articles that everyone said they were unlucky, maybe the bounce the ball didn't go their way. They certainly haven't risen to the occasion so far tonight.
This is on the last tackle for Warrington, and Breers with the kick. It's collected by Fitzpatrick. It's a good chase in the end by Paul Noon. Wonder what Neil Kelly is making of all this. If you were either of the coaches, Neil? Would you be terribly happy at the moment?
Not particularly, no. I think both teams have actually got themselves into a bit of a dilemma. I think Warrington have got a 12-point lead and they're not sure whether they should open the gate and play expansive rugby when really they should be completing and putting Salford under more pressure. And Salford, when they've tried to play a little bit more adventurous, they've lost the ball and they've gone back to being one out. And really, to win this game, they've got to go out of the box, as I said earlier, and maybe just chance their arm as we're seeing now.
Indeed, it's Littler. Nathan Wood, just knocked forward by Stewart. By Andy Kirk, I beg your pardon.
Well, good work from Kirk there. He got himself into a good position. They know that they've got a chance. He's hurt.
Well, Gary Hulse, he got either a scrape across the face or a poke in the eye. Just stopped dead.
Yeah. Stray finger into the socket. Roll the sleeves up.
He's all right anyway, Gary Hulse.
That'll be the message by Paul Cullen. Say, come on, let's get through some hard work, get good field position, then we can produce the magic.
And Hulse is fully recovered, but picked up by Cliff Beverley, finished off. Burns, Breers, Forshaw.
Now then, will it be into the corner with a kick?
Well, it's with Breers, and it's an angled kick looking for Nathan Wood. Just couldn't take it in, but it was inventive from Breers and Wood. Nearly came off.
Oh, tremendous stuff. Combination yet again of the two halfbacks. They have been the difference between the two sides. Far too many mistakes, but look at that. That's no fluke. Something they've obviously worked hard on at the training ground. Just couldn't take it. Tried to offload. Knew there was going to be tackled.
This is Johnson, denied by the video referee, his second try of the game. Chris Charles, Gavin Clinch, Stuart Littler now.
One thing that Paul Cullen will be happy with is the way that the Warrington defence, they're getting up quickly and they're going in like an umbrella. And they're forcing Salford into a very narrow path.
Last tackle for Salford. And that's off the back of Danny Lima.
That won't be a charge down, it'll still be the last.
Still the fifth. Joel Kane with the kick. And everyone's offside for Salford, so it's picked up by Paul Noon. And in the end, Stewart gets the tackle in. Varkulis, the dummy half for Warrington. John Clark. John Clark, lovely dummy. And a good job they had hold of his shirt tails there, Chris Charles. Darren Burns now. This is Wood. Paul Wood.
Good refereeing there by Russell Smith. He said, get on with it. Messing around, you've got the advantage, you could score a try.
Gary Hulse. Mike Forshaw. Went for a gap that really wasn't there. It's a real bell ringer from Johnson. Lima. Gary Hulse. A stab through looking for Burns. Just couldn't get his fingers to it.
Again, a good option. Little kick through, just a little bit too strong.
Anxious to get on with it. Whoa, Lima was high on Fitzpatrick.
Lazy hand going across.
Not put it on the court, but we've got to make sure we take more care.
He saw enough of that, did Russell Smith, to say it's not going on report, but just keep them down. It was a very lazy tackle indeed. No swinging arm.
Coley plays the ball to Kane again.
Salford really need a little bit more speed at the play of the ball, a lot more zip. They're really not testing this Warrington first and second markers. You can see there it's very slow from the play of the ball area.
Good tackle by Westwood. Wrapped Johnson up, drilled him into the ground. Lost a bit of momentum again, Salford, with Clingstow now.
Got a problem with his shoulder. As Andy Johnson.
And again, good hands, Charles, Baldwin. That's great stuff. Stewart has got Beverley. And Cliff Beverley will go over behind the sticks. That's the best move of the match for Salford City Reds. And they're rewarded with a try. It just shows what they are capable of when they are given the opportunity. And Cliff Beverley, the former Auckland Warrior, great try here.
Did well to clinch to offload. sucked into defence there, and then they had the overlap. Breers went perhaps for another interception, back on the inside. Good support play there, Cliff Beverley. Boy, didn't they need that. See how they hung off, clinch. They really should have got into their faces. This is one of the few occasions. What a lovely pass there from Simon Baldwin. Oh, that's good play. Very good play indeed. They're back in it.
They are with a vengeance. Charles adds the extras. It's 12-18. And Salford with a bit of hope, and their supporters on the far side. They're getting behind them now. Cliff Beverley, the try scorer. 27 years of age, and a little smile from Carl Harrison. He knows what this team is capable of. He's quite happy the way it's going in many ways. He knows that they put in a big effort against some of the bigger teams, and they will come up a little bit wanting in terms of fitness, but as far as ability within his ranks is concerned, Carl is fairly happy, and Fitzpatrick, well, he was in touch. That's a shame.
Well, again, like we saw in the first half, when Salford did get across for the try, it was Andy Johnson, and they lifted yet again. But that's good defence. Did well, did Varkulis there. Fitzpatrick thought he had the better of him.
He's a speedster, is Carl Fitzpatrick. But an important scrum feed for Lee Breers, 30 metres away from the Salford line. Nathan Wood, and here is Ben Westwood, being forced wide by Andy Kirk, and eventually finished off by Kirk. Dean Gaskell will scamper away. Nathan Wood, they're going down the short side with Westwood.
Good defence, solid. Never allowed it. Good work by Mark Shipway as well. It's important now that Salford keep this line intact.
Well, they don't want to concede a try after just scoring one themselves.
Yeah.
John Clark. Lee Breers, it was in front of him, so it bounced to Lima. And Danny Lima takes on Baldwin, spins away from him. Still going, Lima. That's the last. They're 8 metres away. Clark. Breers. Breers with the kick. Easy for Beverley.
Well diffused.
And they want to get on with this quickly. And they can, because all the Salford players were onside. Littler.
Well, all of a sudden, oh, he's knocked on. Oh. Littler cannot believe it. Just a little bit of a bobble there. Oh, I never saw it. No, bobbled there. Was it before when he got tackled? Let's have a look here.
Was he on both feet? I know that wasn't a decision from the referee.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that was either play on or give a penalty. And that's the reason why I think Littler is confused. Well, I think that's the first error that we've seen from the Murray whistleblower, Mr. Russell Smith. And he's not happy.
No, he wasn't appreciative of that decision.
Hands off two. Get up, get square.
It's the sort of thing that makes you feel like cutting your throat as a coach, I would imagine. Oh, that's good defence, though. Lima forced back.
Well, as in the second try in the first half, Eddie, when Nathan Wood went through, we saw quite clearly that Breers, he strips the ball. Should have been a penalty to Salford, and from that, it was Warrington that scored another try.
This is Wood looking to do same again, and he has got the ball away to Breers. It's the last tackle. Breers playing the ball. They've gone for the power play with Darren Burns.
Who's got it? It's gone all over the place. Burns has got it.
And he's wiped the tackle count clear. Another 6 to go for Warrington with Nathan Wood here.
Well, he's not had the best second half, Nathan Wood. It seems to me as though it's affected him, those 3 lost balls.
Here's Breers again. Oh, an interception. And it's the quick man, Fitzpatrick, who's away. And Gary Hulse is after him. Fitzpatrick, though, I think he's got the legs. Yes, he has. Carl Fitzpatrick with the try for Salford. What a great effort. English international pinned his ears back for his coach Carl Harrison then, and try as Gary Hulse did, he just couldn't get to him. Well, we have a game on now.
First half it was Breers, and then this fella Fitzpatrick took the gamble, came out of his position, and he paid off. Look at that, he was in no man's land. He took it well. Full credit though to the little fella. Gary Hulse pushed him out wide. At least he made him put the ball down out wide. It'll make the conversion a lot more difficult. This is where they got the 6 back then. It was definitely taken by Simon Ball, was then lost. Burns came up from it, and then he just flicked it out. Breers, the man who's a pass master of the intercept, has given the pass for this fella to race away. Good style, good rhythm, desperation from Hulse. Now then, will he have helped them, perhaps force them not to get an easy 2 points? It's a difficult conversion, this.
It is, but Paul Cullen knows if this sails over, the scores are level. Chris Charles, 2 from 2. Chris Charles, 3 from 3. 18 apiece at the Willows. Salford have the sniff of a glorious win.
Unbelievable the way that they've come back. And the rub of the green has started in the Reds now.
But it's an interception apiece, Phil.
And I tell you what, Carl Fitzpatrick deserves so much credit in this second half. If you cast your mind back just 2 minutes into the second half, it was his chase really which lifted the energy levels really from the Salford side. He just showed that he was willing to do whatever he had to do to get himself back into the game. I was really worried for Salford because on the last 3 occasions they had the ball, they'd lost it on the first tackle inside their own half, and that's almost suicide in this Super League level. But they managed to hang on in there, and a fantastic tackle here again though. Another mistake. Their inability to complete a set after scoring a try really does worry me, and I just don't know, with the side of Warrington's skill, they've been a little bit lazy, but when you wake a sleeping giant, it can very often hurt you.
Well, the referee has seen here that Sean Rutgerson lost the ball forward and he got it back off Danny Lima.
Yeah, Russell Smith obviously feels that that it hit Lima before he got it back, and that would constituted the knock-on, but I think he's got it wrong. I thought the prop forward regathered it before it hit this fella.
This is Lima now, and he will drive it over the 10-metre line. Darren Burns waits. Here come Warrington again with Burns. He's going for glory on his own. He did it in the first half, remember, had great strength.
Will Clark go on his own too? No, it's out wide to the left.
To Breers, and further wide to Nathan Wood. And here's Mike Wainwright and Gary Hulse. Little Gary Hulse. And he gets the ball away. It's a try for Warrington, for Paul Wood. Paul Wood has had family tragedy over the past couple of weeks, and he has come back to score this try for Warrington, which restores the Wolves' advantage. But should the try have been given, because this is controversial?
It certainly is. He loses it, and I think he regains it before the ball hits the prop forward, Danny Lima. Well, they got the luck going their way with the intercept, and from this. Good work, though, wasn't it, from Hulse? Nice step. Lovely offload there. Now they will see it slow. Right, he loses it, and I think he grabs it. Yep, he grabs it before it hits Danny Lima. It's easy for us because we've got the slow motion, of course. Referee does not have that to decide, but it is another mistake. And Paul Wood has made them pay at a vital time.
Breers with an important conversion, and he's kicked it. Steve-O, it's 24-18 Warrington. Paul Cullen knows he's not out of the wood yet. Just refresh people's memory who don't know the rule. If the ball had hit the Warrington man, that would have been classed as a knock-on.
That's right.
It doesn't have to hit the floor.
That's right.
But that didn't hit the Warrington man. He regathered it, so the knock-on, if there was one and there wasn't, was nullified.
Well, now you've got me confused, but yes, you're right. No, the official got it wrong. As I say, they do not have the advantage of slow-motion replay. Well, Carl Harrison, he would not be in the best of mood anyway, but when he sees the videotape of this game...
Oh, Lima. Desperate tackle from Anthony Stewart, could have been penalised for the lift of the ankle. Here's Clark, and here's the try scorer Wood. Well, we'll get Neil Kelly's view, no doubt, on that dodgy decision from Russell Smith in a moment. But this is Mike Forshaw. It was a tough call, and as we've said, Russell Smith doesn't have the advantage of the slow motion replays. He's got to make an instant judgment. There's a knock on by Darren Burns. There's a knock on by Rutgerson, but I think he'll put the scrum down and give head and feet Salford.
Well, he
First
should.
knock on.
Well, he should, because there's no advantage here. As the ball goes through, he does lose it on that occasion, but it should be head and feet for the Salford Reds, which it is.
Neil, you must have sympathy though for Carl Harrison.
Yeah, it's just when you need a decision, if you get one like that, it's a killer for you. It's you start to feel that the world's against you.
I'm sure that he does feel that the world's against him, but he has rallied his troops, hasn't he? He's obviously said something to them at half. What do you say to your players at half-time when you're behind the 8 ball?
We start appealing for things like pride and control, and he's really looking to Gavin Clinch. And it was interesting to see Gavin Clinch's offload lead to that last try, though the first try of the second half for Salford, and he's trying to lead the side well. I just feel Warrington are playing as if it's the middle of the winter, not the best day we've had so far of the summer.
And maybe, just maybe, I don't know, I mean, Paul Cullen would say no, maybe they have an eye on Tuesday and the visit of the Bulls to their own stadium.
I think Paul would have looked at this game and seen that, you know, if we get the 2 points from Salford, then we can go into the Bradford game in a positive mode.
Well, Coley is injured and he's given the ball to Chris Charles. He has either got to play the ball or he's got to give it to somebody, and if he's got to give it to somebody, hasn't he, with the say-so of the referee? He can't just throw the ball away.
No. And he got it right. There again, Carl Harrison. Well, there's one guy I don't want to meet tonight.
He took a heavy shot from Danny Lima.
I just thought we were going to play the ball. He was looking at the edge. I just thought we were going to play the ball, didn't he?
Well, he didn't know where he was, so it's unfortunate, but
the referee's right.
Yeah.
Hang on, mate. Hang on. Time.
Well, the scrum has broken up and the ball was still in.
Well, they were trying to milk the penalty. Waved away by the official. Not often you see that. Loose forward, trapping the ball.
Wainwright.
He's worked hard as Wainwright out wide, but not many breaks. It's been a better performance in defence from Salford in the second half.
Warrington are missing the likes of Graham Appo and Likevol. And there's 2 Salford players down now. There's a clash of heads there. Gavin Clinch is back in the defensive line, but there is one, Littler, still out of it. And here is Gary Hulse. And his arm was knocked down on the floor.
Let's play on. It is now on this particular instance. Well, the crowd are getting very restless.
1 goal, 1 pointer. Steve-O, you didn't call for that.
Didn't have to, it's smart thinking. The guy is smart as well. Not only is mastered at the intercept, he knows when to take the 1 pointer. A lot of coaches don't like it, but if I was in the ear to Paul Cullen now, he'd be saying yes. For once, you are right.
It's a warm night in Salford. Costa del Salford.
Not many Euros around here, Eddie.
Gavin Clinch. That's a knock on.
What on earth?
Nathan Wood is having a shocker in the second half.
It's as though he's just closed the door, shut the office, and say, well, we've got this. Unbelievable.
When they're in possession themselves, what was sort of gauntlet around the ruck area?
Well, it's a big decision now for Paul Cullen. Does he bring him off, because he's going through the nightmares at the moment?
This is Joel Kane for Salford.
And how important now is that 1 point, with Salford getting very close.
A drive forward. It was by Rutgerson. Kane to Coley, and it's a try here if he gets it down, but he can't get it down. Haggerty is taken over the dead ball line. Great defence, and tell you what, we've given Nathan Wood a bit, but that was a great defensive effort from him, and Gary Hulse as well.
Well, he's repaid his coach, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Come up with so many errors, and well, that was...
Haggerty just couldn't squeeze the ball down. Well, most tackles in a match this year, 8. He's now put in 11 tonight, but that's the most important. And Breers was nearly away.
2 release.
You have to have sympathy for Nathan Wood, Phil Clark.
You do, yes. I'm getting a sense of deja vu here, where the last time we saw Salford play, they came back gallantly in the second half against Wakefield, and you thought they were going to get there, but just didn't quite have enough. I know there's 10 minutes still left in this game, and I usually give a side a kiss of death, but I think Warrington just have a bit too much. And if you look at the last 9 times that Salford have had possession, they've scored 2 tries, dropped the ball on the other 6 occasions, and then once Gareth Haggerty taken over the dead ball line. So really, if they only can hold on to the ball a little bit better and had a better control of it, they certainly got the ability to threaten Warrington.
And here goes Fitzpatrick again.
Big problems for Paul Wood. He's picked up an injury and he's leaving the field of play now.
Joel Kane, Salford now having to chance their arm.
2, get back.
Well, they've just got to keep zipping it around, and good support. There's the problem with Paul Wood.
Oh, Gary Hulse was just stood there then, and the Salford man ran straight at him, Andy Coley, and he had drilled him into the ground. Never made the tackle. Kick over was from Clinch. It's flicked back by Littler.
Now, was he in front of the kicker? Oh, what a...
He's giving it to Wainwright. He's giving it to Wainwright.
Hands up, get up.
What a mistake there. I'm not so sure that the man who took the ball in the first instance, he looked offside.
And Burns trying to crawl his way over the line. This is Gleeson! Gleeson scores for Warrington. The referee was unsighted. It's another decision for Jerry Kershaw. But as Mark Gleeson scored for Warrington, he believes he has.
And we'll see here whether he can get the ball down. He's well over. Does he get it down? Yes. That'll be classified. He's in full control of that. Jerry Kershaw, I'm sure, will give the green light for this one. It'll be TRY. No doubt in my mind. He has control. Here it comes.
Try given. Young Mark Gleeson, 21 years old, only 2 starts this year, but he's come up with a very important try for Warrington that could easily have won this match for them now.
Good effort, kept his body low, had control of the football, caught them napping. This is the instant, but Littler, I thought, was well and truly offside. We knew they had to chance their arm, but not like that. If ever there was a time that Carl Harrison said, I wish I'd gone to drive buses, it will be today.
He just has to eradicate silly mistakes from the Salford make-up. And here comes Breers with the kick that might just secure the win. He doesn't make mistakes from there, Lee Breers. It's 31 points to 18, Warrington, and they should be home and hosed now. But Carl Harrison...
Well, he knows it's gone. It's been a better second half. And Paul Cullen perhaps will be thinking that the fans have lifted their team. Here he is with the drum. I love him.
Shallow kick-off for Salford. Littler palms it back. Well done. They have the possession. Joel Kane plays it to Fitzpatrick.
Good positive start as well. Trying to get the ball there. A lot of teams perhaps would say, give up the ghost, we've gone. Just keep them way down in their own side. But why didn't they put this sort of performance, Salford, that they've shown in the second stanza, why didn't they do that in the first half?
Baldwin has... Well, he's lost it.
Yeah,
Warrington's ball. It went backwards, and he did well, Paul Noon. Stevens takes a clatter. Bill. Oh, sorry, Neil. Neil, let's have a word from you with 5.5 minutes to go. Warrington's night?
Well, it is Warrington's night in the end, and looking at Warrington throughout the afternoon, and this is just me speculating, I have a feeling that Paul Cullen's played some players here who are probably carrying injuries, and in an ideal world probably wouldn't have played, looking at people like Nathan Wood. And the only way you can justify doing that is if you get the result, and I'm sure Paul will be satisfied with the points. He knows it's not a vintage performance, but you know, if those players have gone out and done that for him, and I am only speculating, then it's a big effort.
It is a big effort, and of course the Bulls have got 24 hours on them to be patched up, ready for Tuesday. Breers with a very good kick to eat up the clock.
Been a brave performance as well by Lee Breers. Not a 40-20, is it? Pretty close to it. By the way, he knows that at 31-18, and this fella knows too, it hasn't been a classic.
It hasn't, but in 2002, when Warrington were last here, they lost 31-18. They are leading 31-18 with just 4.5 minutes left for play, and they're looking for more, maybe, as Gary Hulse,
well, he knows he's lost 2 points.
The deck.
Paul Cullen will get the message out. Look, let's restart. Let's make sure that they do not get another point. You've got to give yourself little goals from time to time, even though when the game is well and done in the bag, you say to yourself, right, okay, they don't score. Another little section in the game, and you can see there the intensity of the defence now from Warrington.
4 tackles, 2 metres made by Salford. You're right, they don't want them to get another point, but there's a chance here. And Stewart does well to offload. He gives it to Baldwin. Takes on Breers, and then he's hit from behind. Last tackle. Kane is injured. It's with Beverley. It was flicked that by Michael Wainwright. Let's find out the identity of tonight's man of the match, Dave Hadfield.
Well, it's not been a classic, Eddie, has it? And perhaps it hasn't been a classic performance tonight. We've been impressed with Carl Fitzpatrick again. People like Mike Forshaw and Paul Wood have worked very hard. But the man who's got the nod is a man who's done great things, and he's done some bad things as well. And maybe that sums the game up. But it's Lee Breers.
So Lee Breers goes home with the watch.
Well, he's been lethal with the boot as well, hasn't he? Instrumental in 3 tries. One he scored himself with a beautiful intercept.
5 from 5 successful goal kicks. And this is Gary Hulse. It's opened up for Gary Hulse, the little man. Wide it goes, and it's a try here for Varkulis.
What a lovely effort from the little fella. Gary Hulse, stepping, body swerving, and he kept his cool. He could have tried to go on his own, try to be greedy, and that is making Paul Cullen extremely happy.
It's making Carl Harrison and Steve Sims very unhappy. They're in the depths of despair, if that picture is anything to go by.
Neat offload here. Didn't get it right. Watch this. Explosive speed. Bang, straight through it. Go round one. Go round the other. Good thinking by Varkulis. Make sure they kept on the outside. A lot of inexperienced wingers may have come back on the inside and would have been swept up by the cover defence. But look at the speed here. Oh, great step. Nice finish. Full credit. Not too happy with the little push at the end, but I think they'll be happy with the extra points.
Richard Varkulis. 3 games on loan at Rochdale early this year. 3 tries for the Hornets. And we have a new goal kicker because the man of the match, Lee Breers, is off the field at the moment. 5 from 5 for Mr. Breers with the boot.
He must have gone through a lot of the paint, Barry, with that finger. He knows that it's not right.
But look at these faces on the Salford players. They've tried their hardest in the second half. There's no doubt about that. They had a chance when it went to 18 all with 20 minutes to go. But Warrington have just kicked on. And that's another 2 points to the Warrington total. It is a slanted scoreline now.
It certainly is, but it's sad, but it also highlights the fact that just sheer effort and hard work will not win you a game. pat on the back and say, well, you gave me 100%, that's true, but you need flair, you need a little bit more leadership, and they have to cut out the errors.
9 straight defeats now for Salford in all competitions this year. They began, strangely enough, with a victory over Widnes, and they've not done anything right since in terms of winning matches.
The 2, get square.
And it is a problem for them, as it is a problem at the moment for Castleford, who coincidentally face Widnes Sunday afternoon. Warrington looking to finish with a flourish. Inside the last minute, Gleeson, Wainwright, halted by the Salford defence. Last tackle, surely going to be a kick and chase.
Will it be the bomb?
Now Nathan Wood over the top and straight into the arms of Joel Kane. A good chase though by Gleeson, who's looked pretty lively since he came on, Steve-O.
Yeah, and it's always good when you bring someone off the bench, just adds that little bit of zip. We keep mentioning that word, but it's something that Salford really need.
Stewart passes the ball in field. The tackle is completed by Noon. Oh, and good stuff from him and Mike Forshaw. That's the final siren. That's the final score. Paul Cullen came for 2 points and he goes home with them. 37 points to 18. Warrington have won the match. Salford gave them a real fright in the opening 20 minutes of the second half. Beverley and Fitzpatrick with 2 tries. But then Paul Wood, Gleeson and Varkulis with the tries that carried Warrington home at the end. Breers, 15 points in the match. Remember, he scored a try, the interception right on the stroke of half-time that gave Warrington the 18-6 lead at the break. But Warrington, we'll see them on Tuesday night on Sky Sports against the Bradford Bulls. And Paul Cullen and his opposite number, Carl Harrison, shake hands. Here's the man of the match, though, who goes home with yet another Tissot watch, Lee Breers.
And Lee's just examining that finger. How is it? You went into the game, it's still broken, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still broken. Obviously, I'm probably going to have an operation, but that's further down the line.
Well, you'd suffered 3 defeats going into this game, including going out of the Challenge Cup. How important was it to get this win?
Massively, obviously, massive disappointment last week against Wigan. Full credit to Wigan, they come out, turned up and took the chances, but we had to get out of our minds, and hopefully we've just done that. Made hard work for it, but Salford gave us a real good battle.
And was it difficult to lift yourselves for this?
I don't think so. Cull keeps our feet on the ground, and obviously it's hard coming back from a Challenge Cup defeat, but the boys stuck in there with some tired people, and we just got there in the end.
Well done, Lee.
Thanks a lot.
The Wolves coach Paul Cullen's with us as well. Has it been a difficult week? I mean, not only were you knocked out of the cup, but then that was your 3rd defeat in a row.
Very important win, Bill. Possibly not the prettiest, but that doesn't matter. You know, very proud of the way the guys have toughed it out today, and it was a win for mental toughness. Salford, very proud club, desperate situation, and threw everything they had at us. You know, I think what we're seeing at the moment is the result of what has been a very, very tough Easter for all clubs. And a lot of tired and bruised and bust bodies on the field, and I'm simply delighted we're going home with 2 points, because that could have gone either way. And you know, Salford are not dead and buried, and they need not think so.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
This is how it's finished. Warrington 37, Salford 18. And an important win, as Paul Cullen said, Phil Clark.
Yeah, I'm sure Salford will be so frustrated in the dressing room now. They get close, but they don't get any reward for their efforts. They give you points in this league for handling pressure, and Warrington were better at handling the pressure that they came through in the second half than the Salford side. Too many handling errors inside their own half, cost them a chance of winning the game, but boy, what a brave effort from them.
Another brave effort from the Salford City Reds, but it's 9 defeats in a row now, and that is a dreadful habit to try and get rid of. Strangely, the only team that Salford have beaten in this run is Widnes, coached by Neil Kelly. What went wrong that day?
Well, I think we were still playing winter rugby, as I said, but it's first game, and obviously we were disappointed with that result. We'd love to come back here, or love to face Salford again to get that out of our memory, but it is difficult. They're on a run of defeats. They've got to try and keep the spirits up at the moment because they are very competitive, but they're just not getting the result.
But you know as well as anybody, after the events of Easter, 2 wins, your season's turned round, and everyone's got a spring in the step.
Very much so, and even though we're now 8-9 games into the season, I don't think the league table really settles down for another 3 or 4 weeks yet. So a win any time now could keep you in contention. What you don't want to do is go into that second half of the season and to be cast adrift at the bottom of the table.
And I suppose in many ways that's why Castleford have taken the decision they have taken this week about Graham Steadman, sadly, who got the sack early this week, or rather he left the club by mutual consent. Steve-O, losing is a habit, winning's a habit. Salford have got to get rid of this habit quickly.
Yeah, certainly that, and they've got to try to find someone that will give them a little bit more spark. I mean, Warrington fully deserved their win, but it's amazing how luck can go against you. Now, this is the incident that Russell Smith made a mistake. Rogerson loses a ball, but grabs it well in time before it hits Lima's chest, and from this position, it was Wood that went in for the try. Good build-up by this little fella. He impressed me in the second half. Good work there. And it had to be as well. They fought very, very hard, did Salford, but I said in the commentary that hard work, good comradeship, you call it whatever you want, it will not win you games. You need a bit of quality, you need a bit of class. They were very, very leaden-footed.
Bit leaden-footed, and if you look at the table, they are leaden-footed. They are just ahead of Castleford at the bottom. Warrington have joined the log jam. London, Wigan, Widnes and Castleford all play tomorrow. St Helens and Huddersfield with something else on their mind. But we're midway through this Super League weekend, and coming up, the Aussie Rugby League, St George Illawarra Dragons and the Roosters, Sunday at 10:30 in the morning on Sky Sports 2. And do join us for this on Tuesday. We see Warrington again against the champions, 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. And we have Boots and All, of course, coming up on the Wednesday night when our guest will be Ryan Hudson of the Castleford Tigers. Thanks very much to Neil Kelly for being here with Steve-O and me. Neil with a big day tomorrow against the Tigers. For Widnes, we will see you Tuesday at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. He has Westwood and he also has Gaskell, but he isn't going to need either of them. And Nathan Wood will score the try right behind the sticks. And here goes Andy Johnson. Oh, and he's done Cardis, and Andy Johnson's over under the sticks. And Breers pins his ears back. Fitzpatrick's after him, and Breers scores.